Hi, guys. It's Aubrey. I'm here with Huck Seed. We've got a little bit of an exclusive interview. Huck, do you want to hit a quick introduction?
Sure.
Yeah.
My name is Huckleberry Seed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an American poker player.
Mm-hmm.
Very American. And I was named after Huckleberry Finn, the character in the American book.
Is that what you were named
1800s.
after, actually?
Yeah, my
Huckleberry
dad
Finn?
was a writer. One of his favorite writers was Mark Twain, and so he named me after the character.
How many times have you read the book?
Twice. I read it once as a kid, and I reread it a few years back. It was very, very entertaining the second time. When I reread it, I realized that, my dad did have some similarities with Huck's dad,
Oh, boy. That
Yeah.
might not be a good thing.
No, it wasn't. They were both alcoholics who beat their kid, so.
I do remember the book. I'm recalling that.
But anyway, when I was a kid, I didn't really like my name that much. Huckleberry, it was just so long and kind of, you have to raise your voice. So I would just call myself Huck.
Huck is much more manly.
Huck.
You say that with like a Huck.
Yeah.
Like,
so I was just Huck, but then I switched back to Huckleberry at some point. Yeah.
Because that's kind of your poker nickname. We've been talking about poker nicknames quite a bit, but it's your real name. And you were telling me yesterday, you were like, I don't really have a real name. I only have a nickname. Yeah.
Before we go back again, I wanted to just, I think of the poker world as like a family, so.
Okay.
And you're just kind of
joining the family,
getting your feet wet in the poker world here. So I just wanted to welcome you and.
Thank you.
And, so now you're like a little sister to me because you're part of the family. So
I'm joining. Well, see, this is actually the first poker welcome I've received.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, how sad, Not everybody thinks of it as a family like me, I guess.
Tell me about that. The family. What members of the family? Do you have people that you're really close with in the poker industry right now?
Yeah. I have a lot of close friends. And I had some younger friends who were struggling and I kind of mentored them. And I really appreciated a lot of the older players who gave me good advice.
Did they kind of push you more to succeed, or was it kind of just intimidating? How'd that go for you?
I remember once I was 20 and I was playing in the Normandy Casino in LA.
Okay.
Because it was the only casino that really never carded me. So one time I was winning pretty big in a game and this guy was like, "This is the worst thing that can happen to you. You think that you can win in this and you're going to end up, this is a terrible life and everyone's going broke and blah, blah, blah." And he was like telling me I needed to just quit and go away, Part of the reason I ended up in poker is I was trying to see what I, might be good at. To survive in this world. Sometimes you have to do what you're good at, right?
I really want to know, what was it like for you winning the World Series in 1996?
Winning doesn't feel anything because winning or losing is the same, it's just you're playing for me. I would just, I had a very Zen mentality for poker. I tried to just not be very emotional about it, which was easy for me because I wasn't a very emotional person.
Like Zen with everything involving poker. Like you're very intuitive at the table and that's kind of how you play. Is that just, word of mouth rumor, or does that have some truth to it?
Well, I would try to stay in touch with my passion for the game. There was an important moment in my life when I was maybe 19 where I was playing poker in college as a hobby. And I was also playing basketball as a hobby. I had quit basketball as like a dream or a profession or whatever. So I was playing for fun and I was playing poker for fun. And then there was one day where I played and I had played basketball the day before in a game. And then I played poker the next day. And I had the same feeling of that competitive outlet. I was like, wow, I can just sit here and have the same competitive outlet in a mind game. It was such a weird feeling of being really connected to that because I was very competitive in basketball and I really enjoyed that competitive outlet. And I got a very similar feeling in a hard fought poker session. I was like, wow, I like this. And that was when I really was like, I don't know. How about for you? Like, are you a very competitive person?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Extremely.
Do you have siblings?
2 younger siblings.
You're the oldest. Oh, same as me. So,
really? How many siblings?
I have 4 other siblings.
4 younger siblings.
So were you competitive with your younger?
Oh my gosh,
you'd beat up on them and toughen them up, and now they're great.
And now my brother is like 6'3", and it's before when I could beat him up. Now it's roles reversed. It's terrible.
You have to pay your dues in this poker world. So you start out losing, and then just like you toughened up your brother, our family is here to toughen you
Oh
up.
boy, I don't know how much money I wanna lose in the process.
You had no one to toughen you up. You were the oldest, so that's why you're here in the poker world.
I'm getting my feet wet, but I feel like I'm being thrown in off the deep end. I'm super curious, what is the biggest or, like, most insane prop bet you've made?
Well, it's not always about me, you know. What came to mind when you asked that was one of my favorite prop bets, this guy named Ashton Griffin,
Okay.
and he was a college wrestler and just really mentally tough PLO player guy. And he was out drinking with a bunch of his friends. They had been up for 24 hours. They were all walking and drunk, you know, and down the street. They were making some kind of drunken marathon bet, or they were like, what if you trained for this amount of time? Could you run a marathon in this time? And Ashton interrupted the conversation. He's like, you guys don't even know about running. I'm not even a runner, but I know running is all mental, you know. I could go run 70 miles right now because it's all mental. And so they bet him all of his money, which was a little bit over $1 million. So everybody in the group pooled their money together and bet that he couldn't go. They did it on a treadmill and he ran for 70 miles. He bet all of his money, you know, and obviously he wasn't a runner, but he was a wrestler, but he had done a lot of running because, you know, when you have to cut the weight, a lot of times they put on those suits and they go run until they sweat off the weight. So he had run 10, 15 miles to make his weight before in college wrestling. Yeah, he did it and he
70
won the
miles.
money. Yeah. Should we make a bet?
And this is where
So there's two
I get in a sticky situation, huh? This is that prop bet.
prop bets. That's one of the great things about prop bets. They help motivate you, you know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. I don't know if I could exactly bet my net worth
You
like
don't have to
Mr.
bet.
Wrestler, but
That was, Ashton
that's
Griffin.
huge.
Huh?
Ashton Griffin.
Yeah, you don't have to even bet that much necessarily, but it could be motivational for me. I mean, so you don't want to make a prop bet.
I don't wanna make a
Maybe
prop
if I
bet.
tell you another, I told you the story about the after.
You
I'll
did.
tell you one of
Tell
my
tell me one of
stories,
yours, yes.
and then we'll see if you're gonna get motivated or excited about
Totally
doing
got
a
it.
prop bet.
Let's hear it.
So a couple of years ago, I was in Colombia having a good time, you know, just walking around, talking to people, practicing my Spanish. And I got a message from the World Series of Poker. And I hadn't played poker almost at all for 10 years. And most people know this by now. I took a long break and I would play 2, 3 times a year for fun and just enjoy it. But the passion to come back and compete just wasn't there. So I didn't force it. And now I got a text, you know, from the poker family, right? Hey, we're doing this reunion event. All the 25 past main event poker champions of the World Series are going to come
Oh,
and we're
wow.
going to put them in for free. And then if anyone busts you, it's a 10,000 bounty to get into the main event. So they're putting me in for free. And if someone, I was like, wow, they're giving away all this money and they're doing, sure, I'll help, you know. It sounded nice, so I was like, I came. So I flew back. I wasn't planning to go to the World Series, so I came back to Vegas, got to the table. I was like, wow, this is great. You know, they're giving away all these bounties, you know, for this tournament. And the girl next to me was like, no, they're not. They're probably just taking out of the prize pool. So I was like, I'll bet you 1,000 they're not. So she said, no, 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 don't bet 1,000. Just bet a drink. She didn't want to take my money, I guess.
Oh, wow.
So then we called the floor over and they said, it's out of the prize pool. So I lost.
Oh, no. So
And
you got
then,
fired.
so I was a little bummed. Then this guy, he was like 28, and he's like, oh, I used to watch you on TV when I was 17, and I promised myself I would never make a prop bet with you because you never lose a prop bet. So I said, look, I just lost one. What are you talking about? And you don't have to keep a promise to your stupid 17-year-old self because that kid didn't know anything.
Oh,
So you
no.
could make me a prop bet.
Oh,
So
God.
now he's got me. He obviously wants to make a prop bet with me, so for fun or whatever, for the experience. So he's like, well, what prop bets have you ever lost? So I started telling him about when I was 26. I had a bet with Doyle Brunson. I was feeling out of shape and, you know, I'd played poker every day for like a year without working out. So I was like needing to get some exercise. So I made a bet with him. I had a year to train to do a 430 mile. And I had 5 tries to do it. And then
Generous, kind of.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because he was happily giving me 5 tries when he thought there was no
There's just no
possible way
way.
I was going
Yeah.
to do it. But then I ran a 444 and a 441 and then a 438, and I had 2 tries to go. But I knew I couldn't make it. I didn't believe in myself. So I settled the bet and I paid 70. It was a
You didn't even
$100,000
take
bet.
the other 2 tries?
I paid 70,000 to get out of it. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked because we were in the middle of a story about a guy, and I was telling him that story.
Yes,
But
you were.
I did reduce the story to him, you know.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, this guy, he just sort of just butted into our conversation. He was like, guess how many, he wanted to talk about running because I'm telling the Doyle story. He's getting excited because he was a serious runner. You know, he's a businessman, but he ran to keep his life in balance, I guess, you know. And
Yeah.
so he's like, guess how many marathons I've run? I was like, I don't know, 0? He's like, 23. So we're talking about running. And I was like, well, you know, I want to get back. So usually when I make bets, it's either just for fun. When I make a prop bet, it's kind of for fun. It's like a weird, silly idea. Like, can you eat donuts for 2 weeks straight and, you know, stand on your head for an hour or not, you know, or just something weird and silly and funny.
Stuff, yeah.
And then there's also just making a bet because you want to win.
Because why not?
Win.
Yeah.
Be competitive or just.
So did you end up making a bet with
So yeah, so we were going to make a bet. And I was like, I want to, you know, I want to do this bet. I want to get in shape. You know, give me 6 months to train and see what kind of mile do you think I can run? We'll make a bet, you know. So he's like, well, I don't know. The best mile I ever ran was 7:10. Wouldn't know how to make the line. And then John Morgan, he's like, I know running. I'll make the line. 6 minutes. So I said, okay, $20,000, 6 minutes. I got 6 months to train. He said, no. And then the conversation died out. And then I was like, okay, 5:45. He said, I'll bet it if he bets it. John was like, no, I don't want to bet it. So then a little time went by. Nobody said anything. So I said, okay, 5:39.
You were really pushing for this.
I just wanted to have a bet.
You wanted a bet.
So then he said, I'll bet it if he bets it. And then he said, well, you know, I used to train for the Minnesota Masters Mile and I kept getting injured on the start line and you'd have to be a elite runner your age for that kind of a time. But I think you're going to get injured, you know, if you start pushing those high speeds for a mile, you know. So yeah, I want to bet this.
Okay.
So then we bet. I got them to lay me odds as a negotiation. They laid me 20,000 to 10,000. So they were each betting 10,000 to 5,000. So that was the bet. So then, we're just back to playing. And then like nobody was talking about the bet. And she's like, I just want to bet $1 million on this.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go. Let's bet $1 million. So we bet $1 million. The young guy, he was upset. And he was like, oh, you just bet $1 million on this? I'm dead, you know. Like, it was just a break. And so I went to the break and I bumped into a friend of mine. I was like, do you know this guy, John Morgan? He's like, oh yeah, he played in my home game and he's such a great guy. And, you know, he lost a lot in the game this one day and he just paid right away. He's a great guy. Like, okay. So then I was back at the tournament and, you know, I bubbled out the tournament. I didn't really enjoy it that much. Now I had this big running bet, so I'm going to focus on that, right? So, and then the young guy, he asked around anyone who knew about me and running and things. And he found a guy that had seen me at the track years ago, you know, and saw me doing a workout. And he's like, oh, I think you're in big trouble in this because I seen him running. So he told the guy he thought that he was going to lose. So I let him pay me $5 to call off his bet. So he lost 5,000.
Oh my goodness.
I was already 5,000 in the plus, but that was kind of meaningless because now I have $1 million bet.
You got the million to look for.
And that was really fun to have such a big bet, you know. And,
totally.
but I think that was one of the bigger bets I've ever had. And I was training really hard. You know, I had 6 months to do it. So I'm training so hard. And I'm feeling so great. This kind of reminded me of the old Doyle about when I was just in the greatest shape. So now I'm just in the greatest shape. I don't want this bet to end. I just want to keep training and be in great shape like this forever. But I know when the bet's over, I'm going to stop training. I decided to just go ahead and do it after 3 months in case I got injured. So I texted him. He was kind of surprised. He's like, have you done it in practice?
Oh, boy.
I said, yeah, I ran a 5:29 last week in practice. He's like, all right, I'll set it all up. He set it up at the UNLV track. He came down with his friend who was like a big shot in the sports program there. And that, you know, so he came down. He was like, I know you can do this. You got this. Don't go out too fast. He was cheering me on, you know.
Gosh.
When we got to the track, though, I didn't think we were going to be able to run because there was like 500 band members practicing and there was tubas and instruments all over the track and people all over the track. I never seen a band so big. So I didn't think we were going to be able to run. I went to the band director. I was like, we can't run, right? He's like, oh, no. We're moving into the football field to do our routines. We're about to move. So the track's fine. I do my warm up and John Morgan, he's joking like, don't wear yourself out. And he's just having fun. But he's really rooting for me, you know. When I was ready to go, I was done warming up. There were still tubas in the lane one. And now I'm getting a little anxiety. I was like, I know I'm going to be on lap 2 or 3 and someone is going to jump out and not notice me and trip me and I'm going to fall, right? Because there's so many people there.
There's a lot on the line.
So I was like, I have to run fast enough so that if a band member accidentally jumps in front of me and trips me, I'll still have time to get up and win the bet. So I ran a 520. Nobody tripped me. So I ran the 520. So I made it. He's like, I got the check already. I knew you were going to win. He gave me the $1 million check, put it in
What
the
a
bank,
guy.
cash right away. And the next day, somebody had called me from the poker room, like, I'm playing poker with this John Morgan guy. And he was telling the story about how he just lost $1 million yesterday. I never seen anyone so happy to have lost $1 million the day before, you know? Like,
Totally. Are you kidding me?
yeah, it was very, very classy act, that John Morgan.
Very. That is so cool.